Why do Asian women always look very young? Asian women are literally, you see someone who's like maybe 60 years old and she looks like she's 40 or even 30. I live in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is a country in Central Asia. It's a very beautiful country in Central Asia. And you see the women, you see someone who's a grandmom or even a great grandmom and she's looking like she's a teenager. Why do Asian women look so young but they're very old? I don't know if it's genetics, but I've seen a lot of Asian women. Lada, why do Asian women look so young? Lada is going to answer the question. Lada, do you know the answer? Lada. Why do Asian women look so young? I can say most of the Asian women always exercise, like they always do a lot of exercise, and it also has to do with genetics. I met some woman, or let's say my friend's mom, and she's looking like she's a teenager. She looks really, really very young, and this woman should be about 40 something. She looks like she's even in her 20s. The face looks so young, it looks so healthy. And if you compare that to, let's say, Western women, or let's say America, for example, in America, you see a young girl who's like, let's say, 19, and she looks like my grandmother. A woman in America is 19-year-old and she's looking like my grandmother or even my great-grandmom. I think it has to do with genetics, and it also has to do with food. The quality of food in America, it's very bad, or in Western countries, it's very bad, especially America. A lot of toxic and a lot of fast food. In Kazakhstan, the Kazakh people also eat a lot of fast food, but they still always look young. It has to do with genetics. I want to talk about fast food, but Kazakh people don't eat a lot of fast food like Western countries or America, for example. They rarely eat fast food. Not rarely, but they eat it, but most of them cook. You see someone who's old and the person still looks so young. It looks like someone who's like 60 years and looking like a hot chick of 25 or 20 years. I'm like, are you sure you're 60, or are you sure you're 50 years and you're looking so young? You're looking like my girlfriend. Especially in Kazakhstan, I see a lot of, and most of the let's say elderly or the old Kazakh generation women are very, very hardworking, and very, very respectful women. Really, literally very, very respectful women. And one of my neighbors, every single evening I always see her going. She's about, I think, 50 something or 40 something. Every evening I always see her going for a run or going for a walk. So most of them do a lot of exercise, especially in China. Let's talk about China. I almost forgot. You see women from, let's say, Central Asia. Women in Central Asia, they look so beautiful, they look so young, and they look so fresh. Even though they're very old, but they still look so fresh. And I keep wondering, what is happening? For example, in China, they always do a lot of, a lot of exercise outside, a lot of exercise, a lot of training, a lot of martial arts, and a lot of group. What is Lada doing? A lot of group dances. Whereas in America, it's really difficult to see elderly people doing a lot of group session. For example, let's say in Kazakhstan right now, there's some part of Kazakhstan where there is a gym strictly for only elderly people, and it's free of charge. A gym for only elderly people, old people, which is completely free. You don't have to pay. Like, if you're old, you just go there, you do some exercises, some workout. They have all the machines for only elderly people, which is completely free. I don't know if they have that in America or some Western countries. And in China, the Chinese people eat a lot of healthy food, eat a lot of vegetables, they eat a lot of home cooked food. Whereas in Western countries, in America, it's really rare for them to eat that. Does it have to do with the weather? I don't know if it's the weather also affects. I don't know if it's also the weather. And you see a lot of old Asians always still working, they still work very healthy, they still have jobs. But in America, it's really difficult to see an elderly person who still work. I think everything has to do with genetics. I think so. I don't want to base everything based on, it has to do with genetics and maybe the weather, maybe. I'm not sure. But honestly, I can say in Kazakhstan, you guys need to visit Kazakhstan and see the women for sure. You see someone who's 60 years old. I'm not exaggerating, but someone who's 60 years old looks like is in her 30s or even in her 20s, and I'm like, are you sure you're 60 years old? Let me see your birth certificate, because if you're 60, then I don't know how you're gonna look like when you're in your 70s. They're very old, and in Kazakhstan, the rate of which people die, it's very rare. People don't always, people live for a long time. When I mean long time, people live for a long time. And most of them have free health care. Like, the health care here is free. Even though as a foreign national, you can just call the ambulance and they treat you for free. Whereas in America, it's really very difficult. Ladder. Idi.